I'm John Kovach. I've been a newsman, a sports announcer, and a football coach, but the one constant, since I was old enough to stand next to a stream with my dad, has been fishing. I've waded rapids, stood on slick rocks, hacked through ice, and been tossed about the deck of a boat. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do, and join me on this journey. Welcome to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. Welcome to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. This Thursday, June 22nd, big weekend for Fluke tournaments coming up. There are a couple. One of them, the inaugural Fancy Fluke Women's Only Fluke Tournament. That's going to be in New London. It's going to be here in the waters behind me. I'm at Burr's Marina. We stopped and saw Diane Womack at Diane's Bait, Tackle, and Charters right here in New London. People coming in all afternoon. A lot that she does for the community, a lot of locally owned, locally made tackle being sold. We spent some time with Diane and caught up to talk to her about a shop that's really a key part of this seaside community in what was and could be a bustling fishing town.
I opened my business on May 1st last year. First, Marina and I got together and we spent the winter remodeling the whole place to bring me in here. We wanted to be a one-stop shop and have the convenience and everything all in one place for the customers, our boating customers inshore and offshore. The industry part, I started fishing when I was 3 years old with my grandfather. I'm originally from West Haven. He brought me fishing one day. And I loved it ever since, so he took me with him. And throughout the years, I worked on a commercial boat as a filleting fish. I was the first Vision woman in that area to be on a boat at a young age. That was quite an experience. Then I went into the corporate world, and then I got back into working for captains again. And I started out with a captain in London here, and he was with him for 8 years. Got to know the community and everything, and I love working with children, fishing people, and being with people, so that's why I am here.
Now, what do you carry?
I carry all major brand products out there. I carry from shark to porgy fishing. I carry all fresh baits, live eels, sandworms. I get my squid fresh off the boat. I package it here. My stuff comes in vacuum sealed, my mackerel. I do tournament baits. I'm an international gold pen dealer. I have a custom rod builder that can make you custom rods.
Oh, wow.
Any design that you want on them, any length. From shark fishing, tuna fishing, inshore fishing rods. I also have, he also makes boat rods and gaffs.
You've also got a tremendous amount of baits. I see a lot of those are locally made. I see the Fancy Fluke, I see Al Gags, some of the other local ones in here. So a lot of local tackle makers are represented here at Diane's Bait, Tackle, and Charters.
I like to, yes, and I'm very pleased with that. I like the fact that I'm bringing a product into my store that's made in the USA, and I'm very proud to work with some of the most talented people in the business. And I bring this stuff in here, and it's beautiful, and I want them to be welcome to the community with their artwork and bring pleasure to the customers that are buying them.
And some of these fishing lures are pieces of art in themselves, including these that you make. And tell us a little bit about those.
Thank you. I make custom jigs here. I can make them any style that you like. The jigs that I make do not chip. You can see here that I could do any color. I paint them, any colors that you like for the hackle, and put them out there. They fish for stripers, bluefish. I make those for sea bass, and I'm getting ready to produce one for a shark very shortly. The difference between mine on the market is I have a chip proof, and I could also make them for the glow, for the fish can glow underwater. Here on my jigs here, you take mine, and what happens with mine, they don't go flat in water. Mine really just bounce open as they go. This one here that I'm holding in my hand has actually been in the water for 14 hours.
And it still opens up like that.
And it still
now
opens
these are
up.
the jigs that you make yourself. They flare out, and they will
continue to flare out. The one you said had been in the water for 14 hours. It still held its shape. I'm not going to ask you how you do that because I'm sure that's a proprietary secret. But these are some pretty heavy jigs that you've got here. What sizes are available?
From 2 to 3 ounce. 2, 3, 4, 8, and I'm getting ready to do a 10 ounce.
That's a big jig.
That's a big jig to get down the bottom. And that's going to be for my shark clients, and they could double up on it as I bring it down. So.
How'd you come up with the idea?
Well, I've been actually made jigs for a while, for a few years for my friends, my gentlemen and my female friends that fish, and I used to make them for Christmas presents to be economical and do something handmade and made with love. And now that I have my own place, I decided to bring it into the shop so this way I could continue as I've grown with more friends that are in the industry to make them for them.
And you've got your tying desk here, so I'm sure some of those get made right here in the shop.
Yes, they do. When I'm not around with a customer and I'm not doing over here, I'm constantly keeping busy because time is money. So I'm hoping I could continue to do this and put it out there.
Now, time is money also for a fisherman who's
Yes.
looking to get service. And they can get anything here. They can come in, they can buy their rod, they can get outfitted. You've got all your your lures here, your tackle here. You can also set up charters?
Yes. And what I do is you could call me, and I work with some of the best captains in Connecticut. You call me up, and I customize the charters for you, whether you want to go from shark fishing right down to porgy fishing. I'm a very family-oriented business. I work with, like I said, some of the best captains. They'll treat you well. They're very respectful. They're family-oriented, with working with children, their first time fishing, or your first time fishing as an adult.
And we've seen a couple of people come in, and you've been able to set them up with charters, which was really cool to watch. You got a lot of foot traffic here. I didn't think we're right here along the Thames River. We've got a residential area to the other side. And yet, you've got almost constant foot traffic since we got here on this Saturday afternoon.
Well, I'm very happy to work in a community that everybody is very friendly, and the school's out right now, and the season's started to be where it's supposed to be, and they come in, and I hopefully know that my door's always open to whoever needs any guidance or suggestion, or whether it's a snack or a bottle of water. Or as you seen, had somebody bring a dog in to say hi because the dog wanted to run across the street to visit me as one of the neighbors here. But yeah, I want everybody to feel welcome when they come in the store.
And you do a lot with local artists and artisans. Let's take a look at some of those items.
Okay.
The other side of the store, away from the tackle and the bait and the lures and the rods and reels and everything, you've got a tremendous collection of locally made items, most of them with a nautical theme.
Well, I enjoy working with the artisans and everything in the area, and some beautiful things are brought in here. For instance, this is a friend of mine. She's a local photographer. Her name is Lee Colombo, and she makes photographs all the lighthouses in the area. She does beautiful scenic art. You see some of her photographs are up here on the wall here for sale.
This will be the headquarters for the tournament on the 24th.
Yes, it will.
So the weigh-in will be here at the end, and all
the weigh-in station will be here. There's some fabulous sponsors that I'm very grateful to that support the women in fishing with all of us here, and you have a nice barbecue afterwards, and just a gathering for women and children and everything to get together and talk about fishing.
And the tournament again is going to be Saturday, June 24th. It's going to be based here at Burr's Marina, which is 244 Pequot Avenue in New London. Also Diane's Bait, Tackle, and Charters. $35 per angler, $25 for those 12 and under. And it's important to get the kids out there.
Yes, yes, please. Many children as you can come down. If you don't have any, they don't have any rods and reels available, I have them here. I have a loaner program that I use for the community that can't afford to have a rod and reel, they're more than welcome to come in here and grab them at any time.
What kind of rods and reels are you looking for?
I have all kinds.
All kinds?
I have all kinds of rods and reel, inshore, offshore. I sell inshore, offshore, mostly for the community. It's for inshore, so they can take their children or their grandchildren fishing.
We'll have to do something to get more of those here. That's Diane's Bait, Tackle, and Charters. That's 244 Pequot Avenue in New London. Diane, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be back with more Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop, right after this. The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the Dock Shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The Dock Shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the Dock Shop is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
Heart attacks and strokes are the leading cause of death in America. Protect the health of you and your loved ones. Talk to a doctor about heart disease. Hi, I'm Dr. David Pazer with ProHealth Physicians, encouraging you to stay informed about health matters that affect you.
ProHealth Physicians is on the pulse of social media to share information about health and nutrition with the community. Get up-to-the-minute alerts, including ProHealth Physicians' news and upcoming events. Connecticut's leading group of primary care doctors is just a click away.
You don't have to go far for authentic Neapolitan cuisine and renowned wood-fire pizza. Pizzeria Loretano of Bethel is a contemporary Italian bistro, specializing in authentic wood-fired brick oven pizza Napoletana. Pizzeria Loretano was named one of America's top 1,000 Italian restaurants in 2008 by Zagat, and recommended by Jane and Michael Stern on National Public Radio's Splendid Table. Located close to the Bethel Cinema, we focus on quality, and our food is always made to order. Join us for live jazz Sundays from 6 to 8. Find our schedule, menu, and more at pizzerialoretano.com, and like us on Facebook.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the Drive and Discover event. Now through May 31st.
So while we were in New London visiting Diane Womack at Diane's Bait, Tackle, and Charters, we also visited with the owner of Burr's Marina here. It's a big marina that has seen tough times. It's back. A lot of boats and slips here. We talked to him a little bit about that business. Let's catch up with Adam Bergamo.
It's been here since the 20s or 30s. My grandfather came here the late 50s. And was a manager for a few years, and then he bought it from the two guys, I can't remember their names, but they were from Florida. They had marinas in Florida, and then he bought it from them in '61.
So 56 years your family's run this marina. How many boats do you have here?
About 140 slips.
And how many charters?
Right now, I think there's only 2. That are chartering right now.
How important is the marina industry to the city of New London?
If you ask them, it's not very important, but I think that we bring in a lot of business to the city. You know, there's people that stay here weekends, they shop at the local stores, they buy fuel, they buy bait for the local businesses. The local businesses own property, they pay their property tax. You know, there's, you know, I think we bring in a lot of families that they come in from Hartford, Springfield, Mass. They come down. They're coming all the way from Albany to boat in this area. So
And your proximity to the race and the Long Island Sound has to attract a ton of fishermen.
Ton of fishermen, even just coastal cruisers that are going to Block Island, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, Long Island, Watch Hill, Rhode Island. I mean, there's a lot of great cruising grounds for day sailors, overnighters, and then the local fishing is fantastic.
Now, coastal Connecticut had a 1-2 punch of storms in the not too distant past.
Yep.
How did Burr's Marina fare during the storms?
Sandy was devastating. We probably had $200,000 or $300,000 worth of damage to the docks. All the shops went underwater. We lost a lot of our power tools went. You know, it was a big hit, and we got no help from anybody.
How tough was it to come back, and how were you able to accomplish that?
My father put a personal loan in to get us up and running, and a lot of great customers who volunteered their time and helped us. I mean, it was incredible how many people showed up to help us. We had probably 14 boats that went over in the parking lot, fell over off their jack stands. They went into the neighbor's condo parking lot, through the fence. The pool got destroyed, the pumps, you know, over 500 feet of dock we had to replace that got torn out. It was overwhelming when we showed up that first day after the storm.
I can't imagine. Seems like it's a tight-knit community.
It is. It is definitely a tight-knit community. I mean, you've got people that were down here before the storm, jumping on each other's boats if they were out of town or on vacation. People didn't even ask. They just jumped on, throwing extra lines on people's boats if they saw lines that were frayed or looked a little bit weak. You know, they didn't even have to know the person who owned the boat. They just helped out.
What kind of events do you have around Burr's Marina?
So the city does Sail Fest, which is 2.5 days of bands and food vendors downtown, and then the fireworks Saturday night. It's a great weekend for families to come down. Then they do there's a couple of restaurant walks and cook-offs in downtown London. There's a barbecue cook-off that they do. Boats, Books, and Brushes is another one they do in September. And they do some fun stuff for the kids too, which is nice.
If somebody's interested in finding out more about Burr's Marina, how can they do that?
burrsmarina.com. Go on the website. It's a very informative website. The rates are on there, directions on how to get here, the phone number. And just the three Bergamos. Any one of us can give them a hand.
Adam Bergamo, thank you very much for joining us on Yankee Fisherman. We'll be back with more Yankee Fisherman presented by the Dock Shop right after this.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The InSports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the Dock Shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The Dock Shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the Dock Shop is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com. Welcome back to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. It's Thursday, June 22nd. Thanks again to Diane, Womack. Wonderful store up there. Wonderful people that we met there. That's Diane's Bait, Tackle, and Charters in New London. Also to the folks at Burr's Marina. Great time up there. And we will be up there again Saturday for the inaugural Fancy Fluke Women's Fluke Tournament. Today, Thursday the 22nd, is the last day that you can register online at fancyfluke.com. If you don't have a boat, Diane at Diane's Bait, Tackle, and Charters has chartered boats and can get you onto one. You can reach her at 860-857-2373. The captain's meeting is on Friday night. That is at Diane's. That's 244 Pequot Avenue in New London. That's at 6 o'clock Friday night. And then Saturday, you've got the competition. I will be there. Also plan to swing by Blackhall Outfitters in Old Lyme, where they are having the Fluke Fest. That starts 6 a.m. Saturday, continues to 4 p.m. on Sunday. $20 per angler. Big fish in each division prizes. Weigh-in is at 4. There's a cookout. There's live music. First place kayak is a 2017 Old Town Loon Angler 106 kayak. Nice boat there. The big boat prize, it's a Cash Calcutta. There's prizes, giveaways. Sponsors for that are the Fisherman Magazine, Old Town Kayak, Costa Sunglasses, Plum Island Baits, Tsunami Tackle, and Stormer Gear. Little tragic news on the Sound earlier this week, and that was that a 41-year-old out of Womack, New York, he launched out of Long Island and was found dead in the water. Stratford firefighters recovered the body of 41-year-old Gregory Blanco of Womack. That was about 3 miles north of Belterre, New York. Be safe if you are out there, particularly on Saturday and Sunday with the Fluke tournaments. Make sure you're wearing your required flotation device. Dress warm. Do everything you can. It is dangerous out there, no matter how nice the weather seems. Interesting story out of Longmeadow, Massachusetts, and this is from the Massachusetts Environmental Police. They did a search at a residence and found that someone was keeping a short-nosed sturgeon inside a house there. The fish was in good health and was released into the wild. They have not released the name and address of the person involved, but the short-nosed sturgeon, both river and ocean dwelling, and they're protected. You're not supposed to have one of these, so I don't know how they came up with the warrant to search, but it's a protected species because it is so threatened. I was kind of shocked there to see that someone actually had one, and I'm kind of at a loss as to why. O-Search tomorrow will start its first ever Mid-Atlantic expedition. They're going to be off New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. 29th expedition, they're looking for great white sharks, tiger sharks, blue sharks, and makos. That expedition will last until July 13th. And another event on Saturday, and you can RSVP for this at nutmegtrout.org. Nutmeg TU is sponsoring a kayak trip up to Squance Pond. Great fishery there. Boats will be available for rental. All the information at nutmegtrout.org, but you do need to RSVP for that, and you need to do so soon. You can keep up with that at the Nutmeg Trout website. And a story that we've discussed in the past, and we're going to discuss it again, and the reason's different now, and it's something we're really going to have to fight to stop. But Connecticut's trout hatcheries are once again at risk. A lot of the TU sites have information online because this threatens TU's Trout in the Classroom program. It threatens the Salmon in Schools program, also threatens the stocking program, which DEEP officials say drives most of the license sales. The state is laying people off, which we know because Connecticut is in a budget crisis. And they have 3 people slated for layoffs who are on the DEEP staff and maintain the hatcheries. There are another two, excuse me, another two who are leaving voluntarily. One is retiring, one is relocating. At a lot of companies, what would happen is the voluntary reductions would be used to offset the layoffs. I want to lay off 3, 2 people are leaving, so I'm only laying off 1. What the state of Connecticut is doing is saying, okay, you 2 are leaving voluntarily, we'll lay off you 3 and we'll take 5 spots and not fill them. And the DEEP says that that will reduce the staff from its current level of 14 down to 9. Full staffing is 22 people. So they say they could not keep all 3 hatcheries running. It would result in severe cutbacks, trout stocking, elimination of the Atlantic salmon and sea run trout stocking, elimination of salmon in schools would put at risk the trout in the classroom program. That's important because salmon in schools and trout in the classroom introduce the next generation not only to conservation but to angling. And this is where it's flawed that these positions aren't going to be filled, because your license money, and if you're watching this, I'm certain that you buy a license or at least have thought about it, and if you are fishing, you better have a license. Anglers and hunters contribute $14 million a year, 14, to the budget of the Bureau of Natural Resources. $7 million of that is contributed by anglers, $4 million of that through fishing licenses. Other money getting funneled there is from fees on hunting and fishing equipment that by law has to go to outdoor recreation. But there is some money from the state that comes in to cover some of the benefits for these employees. And that's where the state has a hand in, where they can get involved in this. Operation of the hatcheries costs about $3 million a year. So already $11 million more than is needed to keep the hatcheries running is being contributed by hunters and fishermen. And yet that service that they pay for and then some is threatened. So we are asking people to contact their state legislators and politely, let's not turn this into a we demand, pounding fists, but point out that if you lose a generation of anglers, if you lose a generation of conservationists, you don't know what those consequences are going to be. And there are going to be consequences for the state too, because these are programs that fund themselves. The revenue comes in through hunting and fishing licenses. It brings people to destinations in Connecticut. This program's important on so many levels. So you could go, I know Farmington Valley, TU, Nutmeg, TU. That information is out there. There is a fact sheet. There is a letter to Connecticut anglers out there. Read it and state your case that it's foolish to cut the hatcheries. That is going to do it for this week's Yankee Fisherman. We'll be back next week with some Fluke and who knows what else. Till then, tight lines.